Want to know how to get massively stressed out? Try to buy a house long distance without a plan. Or you could do what this guy did. He followed the steps in his video. He looks happy. In 2004, I moved from Colorado Springs, Colorado to Brentwood, Tennessee. I'd only visited it once and knew nothing about the place. That experience laid the groundwork for me to be able to help dozens of families buy homes long distance for over a decade. This system will work no matter where you're moving. Here's step number 1. Decide how much you can afford. This may seem fairly obvious, but here's the reason I'm telling you this. This first decision, this dollar amount, will affect every decision moving forward, and you don't want to go through the process, several months sometimes, only to find out you've been aiming at the wrong target the whole time. If you're paying cash, it's a fairly straightforward decision, I would think. You decide how much you're going to spend, that's it. If you're getting a loan, it's a little bit less straightforward. Now you can go online, Google search mortgage calculator and figure out how much you can afford. Or you can talk to a lender. Don't get pre-qualified, but talk to a lender and find out how much you can afford based on their criteria. The reason that's so important is maybe you've got something to fix. I mean, hey, so what? Now you have time to fix it, but you're going to have an accurate dollar amount moving forward. Don't guess on your beginning purchase price. Plus, one other point, the listing price these days in this market seems to be more of a starting point than a sale price. So if you qualify for $500,000, let's say, you might start your home searches at $470,000 to give yourself a little breathing room. The takeaway on this step is start from a financially honest place. Step number 2, you're going to need to find an agent at your destination that's going to help you through the process. This is a little tricky. Seems like I'm throwing somebody under the bus. I'm not. When you start making calls at your destination for somebody to help you, not all agents are going to be interested in long distance transactions. And the reason is it can be 3, 6, 9, 12 months. That's just too long for some. And others just don't qualify for that. Here's what I mean. Here's who you're looking for on the other end. Number 1, somebody that is willing and interested to engage with you in this process, understanding it's going to take a minute. Number 2, that they communicate well. If you send emails or texts, that you get a response in a reasonable period of time. Number 3, that they follow through. When you ask for stuff, you have questions, you get an answer within a reasonable period of time. And the 4th one, and this is really important, is that they know the areas well. Wherever you're going, there may be different pockets of neighborhoods that have different price points, different quality of life, those things. You're looking for somebody that can help you discern where it's best for you to live. That's what you're looking for. So the takeaway on step 2 is look for somebody on the other end that you can build a relationship with. Step number 3 is narrow your focus. I really can't tell you how important this is. Let me explain how it works on my end so you'll see the process a little bit. A lot of times people will call and they'll say, hey, we're thinking about moving to Nashville. How does that work? The first question I'm going to ask them is, do you mean Nashville, or the Nashville area? The 50-50. And then I'll ask them, what's the price point? Remember step number 1, what's the price point? They say $450,000. I'll do a search, closed, recent closed, and actives on the areas of interest. What will happen when I do that search is there will be pockets of properties that pop up in their price range. This is critical because now you've gone from a population of 2 million to several different neighborhoods or little towns that involve properties that fits the criteria. The next question is, what's most important for you? Is it shopping? Is it schools? Is it close to town? Whatever. You'll be able to make decisions based on those pockets and whatever is most important to you. Now let me give you a tip. When you're looking for properties in different neighborhoods, let's say again, the price range is $450,000. If a pocket of properties shows up, the majority of closed and actives, recent closed, are in that price range, that's a good area. That's what I call a target-rich environment. Some areas will have, let's say the 450, that there'll be 2 out of 20 that's either closed or active in that price range. That's not a target-rich environment, and it will frustrate you because there'll be very rarely that a home with your criteria comes up. Target-rich environment is really the most important thing, and there may be 4. So you'll want to drill down from that based on your priorities. The takeaway on step 3 is you got to find a balance between quality of life and affordability. Step number 4, visit the area. This is kind of exciting. Now let me get something straight with you. This is just part of the process. It isn't the end game. Now, if you're financially prepared and you find the house of your dreams on this first trip, go ahead and buy it. There you go. Good for everybody. But most of the time, this is just part of the process. And a lot of times people will come in on this first visit and want to see a bunch of houses. That's not the goal of this first visit. When you have done your work from distance, you will have narrowed down to several different neighborhoods. This is what I want you to do. Visit your agent at their office first, face to face, get to know who you've been working with in person, and then look at the properties that you've gone through so far. What I want you to do is windshield time. It's not about the house on this trip, it's about the neighborhoods. Drive through those 3 or 4 different areas, whatever it might be, and see if they're a good fit. There can be huge differences in distance or quality of life, whatever it is. But that windshield time will change everything for you for the next step, and you'll see what I mean. So, windshield time. So step number 4, the takeaway is confirm the choices you had in your head when you were at home in real life. Step number 5, I like to call the confirmation step. Here's what I mean. You've done a lot of work to get to this point, and you've come home after your visit, and you've probably picked 1 or 2 neighborhoods that rise above maybe the others that you like a little more. Have your agent build a search based on those 1 or 2 neighborhoods and let the search run. As properties come to you, new listings, it will build your confidence and your confirmation that you've made the right choice in the right area, price range, and all the rest of it. Plus, here's the kicker. With those properties that come through, you'll now have real world experience. You may not have been on the street, but you've been in the neighborhood of where those homes are, and you can see in your head what life is going to be like there a little bit better. What you're looking for, the takeaway, is a consistent flow of legitimate possibilities for you and your family. Step 6 is prepare for exit. What you should have at this point is a steady flow of good property candidates that you like coming in. Now you need to set your time frame. When are you actually going to leave? Get pre-qualified for a loan if that is going to be within 2 or 3 months. If you have to sell your house to buy the next one, that's a different question. Can't possibly cover all the different versions of what you might need, but at this point you will have built a relationship with the person on the other end, and they'll help you navigate that particular maze. The 7th is pulling the trigger. Now there's at least 3 variants of what you can do on this, and number 1 is if the home comes through that you just love, you can put an offer, get a contract, and buy it sight unseen. I'm telling you the truth, that happens a lot more these days than frankly I'm comfortable with, but it does happen. That's one. The second one is you can put an offer, get a contract on a property with the contingency of a personal viewing by you, the buyer, and approval. That's a little safer way to go. It's a good way to go. And the third is, let's say with a steady flow of properties, you got 4 or 5 properties that you really like and you're ready to pull the trigger. Well, you can do a short trip to your destination and you can go look at those properties and see if one of them doesn't work. That has worked for the majority of people that I've worked with over the years. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Be sure to watch the video, The Winning Formula, that's a perfect match to this. My name is Andy Elliott, and I'm bringing you real estate in real life. Talk to you soon.